On this week's show, Peloton Heart Rate band finally launched.
Plus, we'll talk about all new strength content and programs, and game one of the Ride to Greatness went down, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 68 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, joined as always by my co-host, Amanda Siegel. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Getting out of the snow here. Got dumped on a bit
digging?
The last couple days. Yep. Jackie's busy shoveling. She likes to shovel, so I'm not going to pay somebody to clear it.
That's too funny.
So she's getting her upper body pumping, shoveling.
Workout. It's a really hard workout. And I mean, I saw how much snow you guys got. I mean, that's a significant amount of snow. How many inches did you guys get?
Not as many as they forecasted, maybe 6 or 7 inches, so not too bad. But it's heavy shoveling. You know, sometimes it's easier when we have this big like sort of blade shovel that we use. But with this amount, it makes it a little harder to push it across. But
yeah, you mean you don't have a snowblower? You live in Michigan, for goodness sake.
I don't want that clutter in my garage. I keep my garage pristine.
I'm sure you do, John Pruitt. I'm sure you do. Yeah, we actually, I got to say, we haven't gotten anything significant, up here. It's been just freezing cold, and raining. I mean, the temperatures have just been up and down and just insane. But thank goodness it hasn't been, we haven't gotten any of the snow. So I have to say I am not sorry. And I am heading back down to Florida on Tuesday, and I cannot wait to get out of this goddamn cold. There is clearly my African blood in me. There is no question that, having lived in South Africa all my childhood, I hate the cold. I'm not used to it. I'm used to, Southern Hemisphere temperatures. So it's even 30 years later, I've lived in this country for 30 years, and it chills me to the bone.
Still
I
don't
hate it.
Fully adapt. Yeah.
Yeah. You just don't. But otherwise it was a good week and a busy week. Oh my goodness. I mean, each week I think to myself, how could there be more stories? And as the stories were populating in Chris's Pelo Buddy information, I was thinking to myself, God, it's going to be a show. I mean, it's just crazy. There's just so much that has been going on. So with that being said, John, I think we should go ahead and just get right on with it. As we always do, folks, we like to remind you of how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel, so just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
And if you would just like to listen to us, we're on all traditional podcast platforms. Just search Pelo Buddy TV, click subscribe, hit notifications so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review if you like the show. We love to hear positive reviews and get your feedback on how we can improve things, or if you want to hear something, discuss something in particular Pelo related, let us know. We always love to hear from our viewers and listeners.
We sure do. And of course, folks, we are on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Wanted to make sure that we let folks know that Chris is tweeting away there. So if you want to get instant information, you can certainly be notified through Twitter. But again, just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now I guess, John, let's get on with the show.
Sure. All right.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right. So, folks, starting it off, this week we finally saw the release of the Peloton Heart Rate band, which one can now go ahead and purchase on the Peloton website. Annoyingly, though, one cannot use a damn referral code to purchase it, just as they did with the new cycling shoes, which is really frustrating.
Accessories, not apparel. Yeah.
Not apparel, I guess you're right. I know, but it is frustrating, and certainly for most of us who have the ability to use our referrals, it would be nice. So, if you remember, the band was first announced back in November, along with Peloton's new strength-connected device, the Peloton Guide, which we are still unsure when it'll be launched. But the band has been beta tested by members since August. The band's designed to be worn around the upper forearm, and it has the ability to sync with both the Peloton bikes and the tread. You will be able to see your heart rate on the screen while working out, and it tracks all of your exercising data. So I know the question that most folks will have is, how accurate is it going to be? How accurate is this band going to be? Unfortunately, though, at this time, there really is no data. As soon as we do know how the band is functioning, we will be sure to share with you here on the show. From the beta testing reports, though, it does seem to be more accurate than the old chest heart rate monitor that folks had used. But the jury is still out. We will have to wait until folks receive it and start using it. And I know that Chris had said, if anybody gets it, please make sure that you let us know and what your thoughts are, and we can certainly share that on the show. But it is finally out there to be purchased.
Well, Jackie ordered one, so I'll have some hard data pretty soon from her use, because I'm happy with my Scoshi rhythm, so I don't think I'm going to switch. But if it turns out to be good.
Yeah, I just use my Apple Watch. So
she does too, but she wants something separately. She wants something separate from her. I don't think her Apple Watch doesn't connect, or she has issues sometimes. I see her, fumbling with it sometimes when it's not connecting. So I think she wants something separate she doesn't have to worry about as much.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to, so definitely let us know, and maybe hopefully she'll get it before next week's show, and we'll be able to have a better understanding as to how it's working. It'll be fun.
Well, for all you Wordle fans, that does not include me, we now have a Pelo Buddy Wordle game, PeloBuddle, on PeloBuddy.com/game. If you want to go directly to it, it's also, Chris Lewis has also posted it on all the social media channels. I don't really know much about Wordle. I didn't want to even try it because I don't want to get hooked on another time suck. Because I see people constantly posting about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to tell you, especially in the last couple weeks, I remember John Husking mentioning it on a run, weeks ago. It popped up, and I was like, "What is this?" I had no idea what it even was. And then I kind of chuckled when Chris Giles said to us, "Oh, why did you guys play a game before you do the show so you can?" I'm like, "No,
no, pass."
It was funny because
we'll compare your screenshots.
I responded, and I was like, "Okay, no, it's not happening."
No.
It's just, you know what? I mean, Ali Love posted something about it today on social, and folks are talking about it. So I'm excited for Chris Lewis. He seemed pretty excited about launching this. And as far as he is concerned, we have about 5 months worth of play that folks will be able to utilize. So hope you guys have fun, but
Go
so
crazy.
Definitely share that next week and let us know in a review so we can share it on the show. But I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one, John, that you were right beside me on a no Wordle. No Wordle.
I remember a while back, I was big into, I don't know, it was maybe like 2012, 11. I was big into the Scrabble, whatever the app was for Scrabble. I'd play that with friends. And that was kind of fun. But then
was it
Words with Friends? Yes.
That's it.
And that was actually super popular. I remember Alec Baldwin getting kicked off of a plane when they were about to take off because he wouldn't get off his phone from playing Words with Friends, apparently.
No.
I remember that being
in the goodness.
Yeah, like a TMZ. So people were hooked on it that was like the craze for a while back then.
Yeah, I think that's how people are about Wordle, but I'm afraid it's not going to be for me. But those that want to do it, Pelo Buddy
Go
has
crazy. Yeah.
What did you call it?
PeloBuddle.
Pelo
Those are Chris
Thank you.
Lewis's words. Yeah, PeloBuddle.
Love it. I love it. I think it's awesome.
It's a play on words.
I think it's awesome. All right. So whilst we're still not able to purchase the Peloton guide, we are thinking that the release will be delayed until maybe April. We have seen some new strength training programs being released, John. At the beginning of the year, we had reported that there would be possibly a new floor boot camp program with Selena Samuela, teaching at least one of the classes, as well as a legs and core led by Adrian Williams. We're now seeing reports of a 30-minute legs and core SPLT-115 class led by Maddie Majacomo. And in this class, Maddie clarifies that SPLT indicates split, as in the class is a split between focusing on legs and core muscle groups. During this 30-minute class, 15 minutes would be spent on legs and 15 minutes would be spent on core. Maddie also shared that it is a 1-week training program which has 5 active days and 2 recovery days, and that the program is actually designed for a more intense workout of specific muscle groups. Maddie had also mentioned that the program is designed to be repeated for maximum results. So from what we're understanding, folks, is that these programs should be available for anybody on the platform and not just for those purchasing the new guide. What we're also seeing is that these new programs are being led sometimes by 2 instructors. So a new multi-week floor bootcamp training program that Pelo Buddy got its hands on looked like it included both Selena and Jess Sims. So as far as who would potentially be teaching these classes, in the press release announcing the guide, Peloton had specifically mentioned Robin Arzon, Ben Aldous, Callie Gallagson, Rebecca Kennedy, Rad Lopez, Daniel McKenna, Andy Speer, and Chase Tucker. So a pretty wide variety of instructors would be doing these classes. And they would also be working on these classes for the guide. So definitely exciting to get those onto the platform and be able to do those. And I think it is kind of cool that it isn't going to be just available to those folks that have the guide, that anybody can use them irrespective of whether you're kind of monitoring your workouts, with the screencasting on the TV device, of the guide. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool to have gotten that little bit of information and get that out there. So that's exciting.
Well, staying on the subject of strength, we have a new 60-minute total strength series with Andy Speer. And it kicked off on Sunday, the 6th February, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. It's going to go down every Sunday morning. It's a 1-hour live class every Sunday using the principles from Andy's total strength program. He just posted about it this past week on social media. There were no specifics about what sort of exercises or kind of what the, more details about the program. He just said he's going to be using the principles from his total strength program. But I like doing strength. I don't do enough strength, but Andy's one of my favorites. He makes it fun. He's kind of cheesy. I like his music. He's got the right personality that keeps my attention for floor strength workouts.
I was chuckling, John, though, because, and the fact that he kind of shouts you out whenever he does a workout maybe just adds to it.
Yeah, he spoils me a bit. Yeah, you could win me over easily if you shout me out.
Right? That's what I said. I said, just shout me out, baby, and you're going to be in my picks of the week. You're going to be on my, my go-to list of people who I'm going to be working out with. It's crazy. I mean, look, you and I are fortunate that we get that, but...
Although I do love Adrian. I do love Adrian Williams, and he's never shouted me out. So
Oh, serious?
it's not
Okay.
it's not all about it's not all about the shout outs. So yeah, but it's
all
nice.
about the shout outs. It's John, don't fool anybody, baby. It's all
Okay.
about the shout outs. But what I found so interesting about preparing for this show this week was that there is so much strength stuff that is out there. I mean,
Yeah.
In more strength news, February's Strength Stack collection has birthday boy, because Daniel McKenna celebrates a birthday or celebrated a birthday on Friday. But Daniel McKenna is leading those classes. So for the new February stack, it'll actually be Daniel's first time leading a strength stack. And very interesting because both you and I have been very open in admitting that we're not really that good in our strength workouts, or at least, putting those into our workouts. But yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers about, picks of the week, but strength has now become part of my workouts. So I am really excited. And as you guys know, I did kind of slide in last week that I bought a tonal. So I'm trying to figure out how to add my Peloton strength into it in conjunction with my tonal, but it's working so far and it's kind of been good. But this month's with Daniel actually is a really cool stack. It's 11 classes and requires 4 active days per week with 3 days of rest. Whether it be active recovery or just rest days. That's kind of what he's recommending. He did go ahead and take to Instagram, and he took 5 minutes away from sharing Dougal and spoke about his strength, because as we all know, it's all about Dougal on Daniel's Instagram lately. But he did explain that he has split the week into kind of 2 halves. He's looking at doing upper body and lower body with some core and warm-ups sprinkled in there. His recommendations are to do 2 consecutive days of strength work to kick off the week, followed by 1 day of rest before the final 2 days of the strength workout. You folks can certainly head over to PeloBuddle.com to get to see the list of the curated workouts. Or just, go onto the collection tab on the bike, tread, or the app and click on your monthly strength stack. What was interesting though, John, with Daniel's, is that he doesn't actually have a full body strength stack, a strength workout in his stack. So he kind of definitely broke it up in the 2, which I kind of like. So who knows? Maybe this will be my month. Maybe this will be the month that I tackle strength with, and especially as I head down to Florida, I don't have access to tonal, so we'll definitely want to be doing more strength down there. So yeah, I'm excited about it. But the tons of strength. There's definitely somebody talking to us up there, John, saying you 2 need to add strength into your workouts, which is kind of funny. But that was exciting to see.
Cool. Well, Peloton has been mentioned or referenced in some late night TV recently. So on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, they spoofed Peloton with the recent TV heart attack plot lines, from Sex and the City and just like that. And recently from Billions, the TV show on HBO featuring actor Mike Wagner, who plays Wags. They created a skit involving the children's cartoon show Peppa Pig, and I watched it. It was short. It was funny, but the skit begins with a fake CNN style news broadcast recapping Peloton's recent TV portrayals, and that Peloton was also featured in an episode of Peppa Pig, and you hear Stephen Colbert's voice, saying those aren't the only 2 shows in which Peloton played a major part. And then it goes to the Peppa Pig episode where Daddy Pig gets a Peloton that I've never really seen that show, but Mama Pig gives it to her, and he later collapses after his workout. It says, I had a heart attack, and then Mama Pig says, no, that she poisoned his coffee.
I took a look at that.
And then the closing scene, it has the Peloton logo stating it wasn't the bike this time. And then over last weekend, Saturday Night Live, during the weekend update, they had a storyline that talked about Peloton, and the co-anchor Colin Jost of the Weekend Update, he took the Peloton bit, and he said Peloton is concerned after the TV show Billions became the second series in recent weeks to show a character having a heart attack while using their exercise bike. And they're extremely worried about how they factor in to season 2 of Squid Game. Which I love Squid Game. I'm a big fan of that show.
Yeah. Well, John,
the hits just keep on coming.
Humorous at this point. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you can keep on coming. And, that kind of leads me into the next story, because Hollywood can do what they like as far as trying to, squash Peloton or do what they want to with Peloton. And there can be the haters out there. But CNN.com just released an article called "Peloton Diehards Are Sticking with the Failing Company." Of course we are. I mean, come on. Hello. The article spoke of how Peloton has been getting its own workout with all the stuff it's been dealing with. The fact that it bumped up the cost of the bike and treadmill. It spoke of the Tread Plus recall, the fact that they might limit production of hardware and the laying off of staff. But what the article went on to say was that avid Peloton fans, just like you and me, John, aren't going anywhere anytime soon. I guess they had actually gone out and asked folks for their input. And they said that there were so many responses that they actually had to edit the article for space and clarity. But the support from the community was overwhelming. So there are so many amazing testimonials in the article. And I absolutely encourage you guys to head over to PeloBuddle.com to have a read. Yeah, there were, a handful of disgruntled members who were really more unhappy with service, with, customer service, or waiting for their bikes to come or treads to come, or not having access to it, the Tread Plus anymore. There was more of that, but for us diehards who, live, breathe, eat, sleep Peloton, we're not going anywhere. So you can kill us off on HBO series. You can, do whatever you want to. And yet we're gonna stand by it. We'll wave our flags and we'll stand by it. And CNN.com recognized that. And it was nice to read. So I definitely encourage you guys to go over. There were just too many and today's show is so long that I didn't want to go into some of them. But it's a great article to read, and I encourage you guys to take a look at that.
To me, there's no surprise that most members are, because we Peloton members are fiercely loyal to our brands, and we're very protective of our instructors, especially the ones we gravitate the most towards. So it came as those responses came as no surprise with how, passionate, such a vigor we have for the company, the brand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, shifting as we're approaching Valentine's Day, it's right around the corner. Happy to report that we will have a Valentine's Day edition XOXO Cody Ride, which will return Friday, February 11th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The quote, from Cody: "Pedal towards Valentine's Day with confidence. Clip in to this pop star crossed lover playlist and get advice from your most loyal bestie." And if you've for anyone that's never done one of the XOXO Cody rides, we have them, listed the past series. There's been a bunch of them starting, I think, maybe back in 2019. I think he started it around Valentine's Day, 2019. But usually it's like a loved themed, type playlist, and he does a Q&A portion. He'll solicit questions days in advance on social media for, whatever the theme is for that particular ride. He'll ask various questions like relationship advice or something like that. I asked him a question that he read out loud, which was describe your worst date ever, which elicited a pretty funny response in the ride. But that makes it kind of fun. He usually uses some sort of prop. He'll put on funny glasses, some sort of different random eyewear. but that's usually right in the middle of the ride. And then it just has like a fun, whatever the theme is, it just has a fun music theme type playlist. But they're always very entertaining because he brings out so much comedy material to them, that he puts into it.
Yeah.
So they've never disappointed.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one.
Sure, it'll be a ton of fun. Yeah, I have to say, it's no surprise, folks that certainly know me know that I don't ride with Cody pretty much at all. But that is one of his rides that I do like. Is his XOXO, and I believe that I've pretty much done all of them because it is fun, and I think the way that, and I don't mind the fact that he doesn't ride for most of the ride in that way. But yeah, it is fun, and it's. I know that tons of folks are looking forward to that, and hopefully there'll be, the merch will come back out again. I remember in the past we've had, XOXO merch and
shirts,
stuff that gets dropped into the apparel library of stuff. So hopefully there'll be something there. Well, folks, the Ride to Greatness Season 2 cycling game is underway, and the team captains were announced. And they are Ryan Tannehill and Greg Olson, both American football players. And I had to make sure that I added American football players because for our Brits, football obviously means soccer, but they are American football players. Ryan is a star quarterback who plays for the Tennessee Titans and will be captaining Team Activate, while Greg is a veteran tight end who played for 14 seasons in the NFL, with his last stint being with the Seattle Seahawks until retiring in 2020. And side note, I hope that you are all very impressed that I knew that information. I have a son that is NFL mad. So I messaged him and said, Aaron, I need help. Who are these two? And tell me about them before I was preparing, because I wanted to sound like I knew my shit.
Are they just game for the first game that just happened? Were they game one captains, or are they captains for I don't think they're captains for the entire series.
It actually didn't. I believe
game one. Yeah,
I believe it's for the series. Oh, it's just game one. Okay, I didn't know the answer to that. So yeah. Well, what I did know that this past week, and as I said, Greg will be Team Validate's captain. This past week, we saw the first night, which was Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So again, it seems to be that this is, kind of geared towards our American, American members. This Ride to Greatness, we've spoken about that, I believe, last week.
On the Eastern time zone.
Correct. But I'll tell you, there were over 14,000 members that showed up.
For game one.
So pretty impressive, considering that we're just kind of focusing to the Northern American population. There were 14,000 members that showed up for game one. Interestingly enough, though, the two captains were supposed to be on the leaderboard under the special guests option, but neither seemed to appear there. So I don't know if there was a glitch, and perhaps, there was an intern that didn't do their job properly, and somehow they didn't land up in the special guests, but they were not on the special guests, portion of the leaderboard. But the first game was won by Team Validate, and it was a pretty close score. I think it was pretty good. I don't remember the exact numbers. It was 204 versus 197, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But well done to Team Validate for coming out strong on that first one. I believe you're Team Validate, aren't you? Did you ride?
I didn't ride. I'm Activate. Well, I was Activate last season, but
okay.
But I don't even have that tag added because I don't know when I would be able to ride on a Thursday night. Yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to set aside the I've been riding on Wednesday at 5:30, I worked out with Andy, and usually with Jen Sherman, I make that one exception to ride later with her. She usually teaches at 5 or 5:30 on Thursdays, but I try not to go any later than that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they moved it from Saturday to Thursday, to be honest.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer. I also thought it was kind of lame. You know, they have these celebrity. I mean, it's cool they have celebrities repping both teams, but I looked up Ryan Tannehill and he has a private profile. It's like, dude, they put out his name and his leaderboard name. It's like, dude, make your profile like public so at least people can, you know, like see you. And then I don't even think either one of them really like posted about it. So it's not even like they individually promoted it on social media to any extent. So like let's get, hopefully next week we have like members, like actual like diehards, you know, that work out consistently.
That would be
because
cool.
that's what they did last season. They had different members. I don't even know how they were selected, but different members were also captains week to week, which I thought was more fun. Yeah. Because they were posting on social media sort of, and I think they organized some group rides like to practice or train ahead of time. So I think that's more engaging than just having the celebrity. Sure. Like, you know, Usain Bolt, I don't know if he was a captain, but like he's got a private profile too, which I don't know. I just think that's kind of, it's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Tell us more. Ride to Greatness. Oh, so we have a couple new 2-for-1 classes. So this past Saturday, the 5th, we had a 2-for-1 block party, Black History Month, BHM block party 2-for-1 run that went down at noon Eastern with Jess Sims and Adrian Williams. So check that out if you didn't get a chance to do that live. And then we are going to have another 2-for-1 ride with Alex and Tunde. So a new image of the two of them was recently shared by some of the Peloton team this past Wednesday. And it shows like an unaccounted for 2-for-1 class with the two. So there's been no information about a class date, but it's going to happen sometime this month. And this will be, according to Pelo Buddy, this will be the 4th 2-for-1 class with Tunde and Alex. And they're fun. They have great chemistry. I've done some of their past 2-for-1s.
That's going to be a really awesome class for sure. They just work great. Right, the chemistry is just amazing.
Yeah, they just work real great off of each other. So that'll be a fun one whenever it's announced.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Becs Gentry had shared on social this past week that she will be hosting a new themed run series on Tuesday nights. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern time in the month of February. The class, according to Becs, is dedicated to falling in love with moving. And it will be a 30-minute class. And Becs says that she hopes that by the end of it, members who have joined her will have fallen in love with running. She says whether it be that you use the time to practice 22 minutes of tempo runs, whether you're trying to increase your endurance and go at a faster pace, whether you just commit to progressing 0.1 faster. Beck says that she wants you to use the time to find your confidence and not be afraid to try something new. So it was really cool to see her, and she is so unbelievably motivating. Somebody posted something on social recently in her, it wasn't from that, I don't believe, but her just giving some motivational, mantra as she was on the, tread, and she is incredibly motivating. So that actually should be fun. So folks that are, more and more people are hitting the tread and getting excited about running. So that'll be fun to follow.
We also have some new classes. 3 Lunar New Year classes went down this past week. So Peloton celebrated the Lunar New Year with an on-demand ride, a 30-minute Lunar New Year ride with Emma. That's on there. And then a live ride with Sam Yo. That went down on Tuesday, February 1st, and also a live run the same day as well, last Tuesday with Susie Chan. So check those out if you have not done them yet. I haven't done any of them. I didn't even check out the playlist. I'm not even sure what kind of music fits with the Lunar New Year theme.
Yeah, I wanted to do Susie's, but it was a walk plus run. It was a walk plus run, but I hopefully will jump on it this weekend. It was something that I did want to, she spoke about it. And Sam, I do like the way Sam, when he hosts these more specialized type, whether it be his like Broadway or whatever, he puts a lot into it. So I actually would like to do Sam's ride. I haven't been on the bike much this week though. So that may be something I'll also. Yeah. So just a reminder to folks that this week starts the boxing challenge called Boxing Contender that we spoke about in last week's show. And you will be able to earn a badge for this challenge. It started back on Wednesday and will run through this coming Tuesday. So don't forget that if you want to earn that badge, to jump on and count yourself in. Make sure that you count yourself in the challenge and then see whether you can do it. Yeah.
Well, we've got a CNBC article out about Peloton's apparel line, their estimate being cut, but the fact that they still grew. So CNBC reported that Peloton internal documents show it slashed their 2022 sales goals for their apparel unit after the segment revenue more than doubled the last year. And some of the key points that they brought up are Peloton had slashed their 22 sales projections for its apparel business, according to internal documents obtained by CNBC. They said momentum in the unit, which is run by CEO John Foley's wife, Jill, seemed to be fading heading into the next year after apparel revenue more than doubled, though, to over $100 million from 2020 to 2021. This internal look at Peloton's apparel arm, though the division is a small fraction of the overall business, it gives yet another glimpse into how the connected fitness company rode a wave of heightened demand in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, but that the demand has started to normalize and Peloton now seems to be resetting. But they're still killing it in apparel. Their projections is just overall, I think they're just being more realistic now as things, sort of as things level out. And
For sure.
They seem to have, they've seemed to taken care of a lot of the supply chain. Most things are in stock. They're not selling out like crazy. People on the West Coast aren't having to get up super early and hit that refresh button constantly waiting for, the stuff to go live on the apparel website. So it seems like the frenzy, the craziness is really dissipated.
Right. And I think also if you don't absolutely love something, you can certainly wait because things are going on sale. There's constantly stuff on sale that you can, you can go and pick. So if you're not like absolutely married to a specific, piece of apparel, you can certainly wait until it goes on sale and hopefully get it then, which you never really could do before. They would have their Thanksgiving, Black Friday sale, and there used to be a sale here and a sale there, but not nearly like stuff being constantly on sale.
It doesn't feel as much of a gamble if you're to wait for something, maybe, think about it or wait for it to possibly go on sale and then not have to worry about it being sold out or being unavailable in that size.
Yeah.
Just at least
but
for
I will
me.
tell you, folks, if you're looking for something, my absolute go-to is their Dream Blend stuff. I just got this hoodie and I'm obsessed. And I must be honest, it's funny because this one, it's very similar to, they had a black sweatsuit maybe 2 years ago that they released, which had the same, similar to the hoodie with the pockets. Do you have
this
it?
one?
Oh,
yeah, this is the Dream Blend.
I have
this is the full zip.
Okay. No. So they had a hoodie. Anyway, this is, it's just short. This one is kind of cropped so kind of looks like it could have shrunk in the wash, which it didn't. Oh my God, it is heaven. It is so amazing to wear it. So if anyone's looking for something in the apparel side, the Dream Blend, just look for Dream Blend. And I got to say, that's my favorite now. If something comes out, I automatically buy it because it's really good stuff. Another reminder, folks, this Tuesday will be the much anticipated Q2 2022 earnings call, where Peloton will release their results. And I will say to you folks, if anyone is interested in taking a listen, which I think it will be a very interesting earnings call, you can certainly head over to PeloBuddle.com to get the dial in and the webcast info. Alternatively, make sure you tune into next week's show, because you know that we will give you all the little bits, the juicy bits that come out of it. So if you don't want to sit and listen on Tuesday, you can wait until Sunday and get to hear about it all from me and John. So that's going to be an interesting earnings call for sure, I think.
Well, in legal battle news, the legal battles with Peloton and iFit Health and Fitness, which is the manufacturer of NordicTrack, continue to play out. This past week, iFit filed a complaint with the U.S. International Trade Commission asking them to block the import of Peloton's Bike Plus devices. The complaint alleges the Bike Plus infringes, and we've reported on this past episodes, but that the Bike Plus infringes upon an iFit patent that applies to an interactive exercise bike. And iFit also they also named Rexon Industrial Corp and Tonic Fitness, who are both Taiwanese manufacturers of Peloton bikes, in the complaint. And to give you a little background, so iFit first filed a lawsuit back in April 2021 regarding this particular issue. They claimed that the combination of the Bike Plus Auto Follow feature, which allows members to opt in to having the resistance adjusted to the instructor's call-outs during on-demand rides automatically, plus the weight rack and Bike Plus user interface all come together to violate iFit's patent that was issued back in December of 2020. However, just last week, a judge did rule that Peloton was not willfully infringing upon iFit's patent, yet this has not stopped this whole case from continuing to play out. So I'm sure there'll be more to come in the next week or so. So stay tuned.
Definitely. And this next story, which is our last story in the news, actually was one that made me a little bit sad. BuzzFeed.com had an article come out talking about Peloton employees suing the company, saying that they were owed money, that Peloton owed them money. According to the article, 5 employees across the country are alleging that they were not paid for breaks and overtime. 2 employees, a Minnesota delivery worker and a Los Angeles salesperson, have filed class action lawsuits alleging that they were not appropriately compensated for overtime. And 3 other employees also raised pay issues, such as working through breaks, not being reimbursed for work expenses, and not being paid out for vacation time upon termination. So I got to be honest with you folks, it was hard to read this article and hard to imagine it was all true, but there are definitely a slew of past employees that are not happy with the company. And you know, it makes me sad. Because, you know, those are the folks that are assembling our bikes and treads, delivering our bikes and treads, you know, taking the time to be in the showrooms, etc. And, you know, without them, would we be able to even do Peloton if somebody wasn't delivering our bike, or somebody wasn't, you know, assembling our bike or servicing our tread? So it kind of really upset me, because we put our instructors on a pedestal and we, you know, absolutely adore them. And yeah, they're a huge, vital part of the company. But what about those folks that are behind the scenes where, you know,
in the field,
the company needs them
dirty
to run? Yeah. So you can certainly head over again to PeloBuddle.com to read the full article. But it seems to be that there are certainly a ton of, past employees that are not happy. Well,
also, and I'm not saying any of these, you know, I'm not saying I don't believe it, but also coming from BuzzFeed, that particular source.
Yeah, I mean, look, there were complaints that have been filed. You know, there are class action suits that have been filed and stuff. So they clearly are justified, you know, complaints. And reading through the articles, some of them were actually settled out of court. There was one guy that I read about that, settled a claim and was paid out $80,000 in I think vacation time, something that he wasn't, that he hadn't gotten. So, there are obviously issues, and it's just upsetting. It was just upsetting for me to read that and kind of figure out, it isn't all what we as members perceive. We get on the bike, we do our workouts, we love it, but there is an organization and a corporation that are working behind the scenes, and there are these little things that are going on that we typically wouldn't know about. So that was definitely disappointing. Yeah.
Well,
and I guess, John, that leads us into Instructor in the News, right?
Yeah. So kicking off the Today Show, or today.com, they had an article about the 20 best coaches, and take this with a very big grain of salt, just as I did when I read this, because I thought it was a little bit silly. I don't know who put this together, but it's very subjective because some of the categories, and it's called 20 best Peloton instructors for every type of workout, but, covering cycling first. This one is, if you want to feel the burn, they listed Tunde and Alex as the best instructors for that. If you want to party, they listed Jess King and Ben Aldis. So just to, give you an idea of this list, if you want good tunes and chill vibes, Dennis Morton and Emma. Now, I hate to down instructors, but Dennis, I have to disagree with that. I don't feel like he plays the best. He plays the most random tunes.
Okay.
As I experienced on his recent 30-minute Hidden Hills from this past Monday or two, it was just the most random collection of songs that I was just not, aside from an Eminem track that he played, which was the only decent one. But I don't know what they're basing this on. But another one is, if you want to do some soul searching, that's definitely Christine Dierical. You can always, find sort of a deeper meaning, and she can get, very deep in some of her classes, which I love, especially if I'm in the mood for that, if you want to feel invincible, Robin Arzon. Okay. And if you're new to the bike, now mention my favorite, Jen Sherman. And this is the little blurb. I didn't want to read every single blurb, verbatim about each of these, categories. But the one about Jen says, radio host Howard Stern and Today contributor Kate Hansen both rave about Sherman, who has been with Peloton since day one. I'm new to this exercise class stuff where there's an instructor, Stern said on his SiriusXM show in 2020, but she speaks clearly. She understands what it's like to be riding. She's not caught up in her own personality. And Howard gravitated towards Jen when he talked about her, saying she was the best instructor. He likes how she just, she shouts out the cadence and resistance, about form. And then, she also raves about Hannah Corbin too. But yeah, that was a nice little mention of Jen there. But I think Jen plays some of the best music. So, it's like some of the other instructors can fall. They didn't even mention Olivia. And if you want to feel the burn, definitely ride with Olivia or Kendall too. But under cardio, just to give you a couple other categories, aside from the bike, when you're in the mood for a run, they named Jess Sims. Strength, they said when you want to focus on a certain body part, Adrienne Williams and Selena. Yoga and meditation, this is where Cody gets mentioned, which is just
I saw that. It was odd.
If you've never meditated before, Cody Rigsby, they did mention your girl Aditi in there too for meditation. If you want to, I think it said if you want to start the day off right, go with Aditi. But it's just kind of that's definitely, I'm sure that was posted on the official Peloton member page on Facebook, and I'm sure people were bashing it and, going back and forth with their own opinions. But it's just kind of it's an interesting list, to say the least, but very, very subjective. But if you want to see that, we link to it on PeloBuddy.com.
Yeah, I did find the list somewhat annoying as well. There were definitely ones on there that I was like,
categories.
I thought that the same thoughts that you had were thoughts that I had. Well, whilst not an instructor in the news, but we did want to share though with folks that recently there were 2 different members who had jumped on their bikes and pedaled for charity. First up, oh my God, such an unbelievable story. So first up is a dad and high school teacher, Jim McCaffrey from Trumbull, Connecticut, who rode for 24 hours straight and raised more than $80,000 after losing his daughter, Mia, to cancer. So McCaffrey himself is a lung cancer survivor. He set himself a goal of over $100,000 and just fell short, hitting $84,000. But he is hoping that a local spin class fundraiser, which actually had to be cancelled due to the snowstorm 2 weeks ago or last week, will get him to his goal. Second is a Toms River, New Jersey mom, Christine Doviak. And she also rode for 24 hours straight in support of childhood cancer. So Doviak had shared that her 8-year-old daughter had been diagnosed with leukemia back in December of 2017, but goes on to say that she was blessed, that she is now in remission and has a very positive outlook on life. Christine said that if kids can go through hours of chemotherapy, she could ride in hopes to make a difference. What I found the most just heartwarming about these 2 stories was that the 2 connected. And they actually rode simultaneously. So they were both riding, both McCaffrey and Christine were riding at the same time and kind of connected. And I think they pulled their resources together. So I love that 2 community members found each other through these two acts of unbelievable resilience and kindness and just amazement, to be honest with you. But those were kind of 2 really cool stories. And there's tons, I'm sure there's tons we don't hear about. Those happen to have been, documented in, the local New Jersey newspaper and Connecticut. But there are tons of them out there that people are doing that for different charities. So good for you. I think it's amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Well, Tunde was featured in an article in Elle magazine titled How Tunde Oyenin Went from Last One Pick to Peloton Instructor. And it talks about a lot of things that I recently mentioned. I think it was last week when she was in Shape. Mm-hmm. How, she didn't get the Peloton job. She sort of, flubbed her first audition, and then a year later nailed it and got the job. But it talks a lot about her Nigerian heritage, her first job, growing up in Texas. It also summarizes some little tidbits about her, which I thought were kind of funny. It says how many alarms I set each day. She says at least 4. She says the best way to reach me, text, DM doesn't count. Her mantra is your mind is your strongest muscle. She says her first salary was $6 an hour. My mother was so happy she screamed.
It's amazing. Yes. So it was interesting. You just mentioned about Tunde that she was called back. She didn't get it on the spot. And I do go back and I like to read the comments that folks put in on YouTube. And I wasn't aware of this, but apparently Adrian Williams was another. Apparently he didn't make it first round. And somebody had said that he was a second. Yeah, so that I thought was an interesting little bit of trivia, that folks had shared. And then there was something else, and then I'll go to my last story, which I did want to share. And we do really appreciate. I don't want you guys to think that we, don't go back and read. I know that we don't get to comment on all of the comments that people make. But somebody had said, John, Phantom of the Opera is on the platform. And they actually listed the rides that where music from Phantom of the Opera appear. So I got to go back. I meant to actually make a note of it so I could tell you. But whoever shared that, whether it was on Pelo Buddy's Instagram page or on YouTube, I don't remember exactly where I saw it. I do appreciate, and we do appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes we give you information that we aren't, we don't know everything. We think we do, but we don't know everything. So really appreciate that. So thank you for that. It is good to know. It is good to know. And then one more thing that I did want to share. I messed up last week, and I want to retract it. I had thought that Kendall was heading out of town right after her boxing, shadowboxing debut, her live shadowboxing debut on her birthday. I thought she was heading out to California to be with her folks, but that was incorrect. She did not, and she was on the platform, but she is down in Miami this week. So Instructor in the news, she's in Miami. So who knows? Maybe I don't think she'll be there next week, but maybe I'll run into her somewhere down there. That leads us, but I do like to correct those things, because I don't like to say something and then recognize that I've made a mistake. So did want to let you guys know. I don't even know if anyone even picked it up. No one commented, but I picked it up.
No one cares.
I was irritated. I know, no one probably even cared, but I was irritated that I thought I knew something that I didn't. So I wanted to throw that out there. And then lastly, folks, Robin Arzon, actually talking about Shape, she was featured in Shape magazine this past week in an article titled "These Habit Tracking Tips Will Help You Stay Focused." So Robin talks about how one of Peloton's mantras are progress, not perfection. And I absolutely love that mantra. And you hear it from a lot of the instructors talk about progress, not perfection. I know Selena Semuela is someone too. But Robin says that she went on to share ideas which can help folks reach their full potential of success. And it is all in that article that appeared in shape.com. So folks can head over to PeloBuddle.com to read the full article. And
happy birthday to Daniel McKenna, who celebrated his birthday this past Friday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
I know he went live after his EDM Tread Bootcamp on Thursday evening and said, I'll come back live in about an hour with a Guinness. I know he was going to crack open a Guinness. I didn't rejoin for the live, so I don't know how colorful or lively it was, but I'm sure it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, and I didn't see his live. That wraps up the Instructor of the News. And I guess, John, next up is Picks of the Week.
Yeah, you wanna kick it off this week?
I do. I will kick it off this week. So first up, yes, it's Tread for me, folks. I did it, John. I did my first 45-minute run. And who better to do it with than the running queen herself, Susie Chan. So I will share with you guys, I was doing some work. It was 1:24. I had just eaten lunch. So I was kind of stuffed. I hadn't worked out yet. And I guess we got a group text, our little Pelo Buddy group text, where Chris Giles said, anyone want to jump on Susie Chan's run at 1:30? Or it was, I guess, 6:30 UK time. And I was like, you know what? I haven't worked out. You know what? I'm going to do it. No idea that it was a 45-minute ride. So I, ran into the kitchen. I grabbed my water. I was already in, I wake up in the morning and put my Peloton apparel on, ready to work out. So, but things have come up in the morning and I was busy. And you know what? I will give Chris Giles a shout out, because I was so happy that he made me do that. And John, I surprised myself. Susie had a 45-minute 2000s run. It was from February the 2nd. It was 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it was absolutely incredible. I really didn't think that I could do it. It was tough. And I will admit that there were definitely portions where she kind of went into a jog where I slowed it down to a, really fast walk. I am a very fast walker, so it does. I can walk at 5.3. I'm a very fast walker, but it was fantastic. It was, I don't know, it's funny because sometimes I wonder how everyone seems to PR at the same time. Now, granted, it was my first 45 minutes. So clearly I was PRing because it was my first 45 minute that I'd ever done, ever done on the tread. But Chris ended up PRing on that run. A girl that I follow, Sarah Lou, blisters and all. She had terrible blisters on her feet, and she ended up PRing on that run. And it was just fantastic. There was a great sense of community. The high-fiving was crazy. I couldn't run at 8 and high five, but I tried to do it on my fast walking. But for folks that, Susie, I've said before, I used to be, not used to, I think I still am. I'm intimidated by Susie because she is just such an exceptional runner. I look at her like a Becs. I mean, her and Becs, I think, are in a very similar category.
I'm intimidated by Becs.
Right.
Yeah.
I was intimidated. I've certainly, it's no secret how I feel about the UK tread instructors. And Susie was one that I'd kind of do her walks, but her runs were always intimidating because she's just such an exceptional runner. And I have to say, she won me over. I mean, you do it at your own pace and you figure it out, what's right for you. And I did. And I was really, really chuffed with myself. So that run, folks, I would definitely recommend. And then on Tuesday, February 1st was John's 30-minute pop walk. And John, you, John, were on there.
Yeah, that was one you power walked
I did.
Like crazy.
And I was very transparent, and I did say that I cheated and ended up running. But and I said, unfortunately, it did turn into a run for me because it was so hard not to, because the music was so incredible. I mean, he had 9 to 5, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, You Can't Hurry Love, No Doubt's Just a Girl, Enrique Iglesias' Hero. And the track that did it for me was M People's Moving On Up. Now, it may have been the track, or it may have been that he is just so bloody cute, and how he was bopping to that track on the tread was like just kind of won me over. But irrespective, it was enough to push me to a PR, and I was buzzing. I mean, I thought that walk was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And then now, I think I kind of hinted or alluded to it earlier on in the show, but make sure that you're all sitting down because I have strength in this week's pick of the week. And it is all about that birthday boy, the Irish Yank, Daniel McKenna. I jumped on Daniel's lives on Saturday. He had a 20-minute chest and back strength and a 10-minute body weight. And I absolutely love this. I love them. And this was all before I knew that he was going to be the February strength stack instructor. So when I heard preparing for the show that I was like, oh, I guess I did good. Now, how I got onto the strength, and you talk about the shout outs, but you know what? Whatever it takes. So I was on a live with Aditi. She had just done a yoga, which I had done with her, and she was on live, and Daniel came into the room, and I had just messaged and said, oh, I think I'm going to jump on my first ever strength class with Daniel. She read it to Daniel. Daniel said, what's her leaderboard name? And then shouted me out at the beginning of the strength class. So you shout me out, you get into my picks of the week. He gave me a really cute shout out and said, Seglo 3, so happy you're on here. Hope you enjoy my first workout. And it was really cute. And I said, I'm not ashamed to admit that I love my shout out, and that is maybe what got it to the what got me to the picks of the week. But they were really, really awesome classes. So he's hard. He's definitely hard. Again, I just did it at my own pace. As I said, one was a body weight strength. So that was, you really just did it at your own pace. And the other one, I just, had the weights a little bit lower than I typically do. And then Aditi's 10-minute morning meditation from Tuesday, February the 2nd, was so awesome. It did happen to be my 750th meditation, and I did get a shout out. But I gotta tell you, you guys know I'm obsessed with these meditations, and there are so many that are coming out, and the instructors just put so much effort into them, and I think they are absolutely fantastic. So those are my picks of the week this week. No bike picks of the week, believe it or not. So got on there a couple times, but I just kind of working through the tread.
Yeah, I rode the bike a few times, but I only have one cycling ride for one of my pick. My other ones are tread. So I'm going to go first. You have.
Yeah.
So first up, I just have 3. Just got a little hat trick for you this week, but I got to double dip again and give it up for Andy Speer. Like I put one of his strength classes last week as one of my picks. But this week, so I love 80s. I love my 80s music, working out to 80s. That's my favorite decade. So Andy's 30-minute 80s boot camp from Wednesday the 2nd. We message a lot. We get along real well. We banter back and forth about just random shit. But I saw he had an 80s run, and then the boot camp right before that. So he said, yeah, let me, give me some music suggestions. So I gave him like a whole bunch of 80s stuff, and he put every single one of his whole playlist was all of my tracks that I gave him, with the exception of one song he threw in, which was Starship. But the rest of them, even the pre-show music, he used some of my song suggestions, and he programmed it, he arranged it however he liked, and worked the crossfade, between the end of the song and the start of the next one. But it was such a fun 80s boot camp. He kicked it off with Milli Vanilli's Blame It on the Rain. Then INXS's Don't Change, which is my favorite INXS song. He played Wang Chung, Dance Hall Days, ZZ Top's Give Me All Your Lovin', Sammy Hagar's I Can't Drive 55, and AC/DC Shoot to Thrill, and then he closed it out with Touch of Grey, Grateful Dead. So super fun 80s boot camp. And then he did a 20-minute 80s pop run, just after that boot camp on Wednesday the 2nd, like 30 minutes later. And again, all the songs that I gave him in this long list of 80s tracks. He kicked it off with my favorite 80s song of all time, which is Baltimore's Tarzan Boy. Played Erasure, A Little Respect. My favorite Madonna song, which is Cherish. The Tubes, She's a Beauty, which Leanne, recently played, and I got such a big kick out of that in Leanne's ride. And then he closed it out with Talking Heads, This Must Be the Place, which is a great Talking Head song. So just a great, and he wore this 80s theme, sort of jungle themed, and he got it on Etsy. He looked up 80s, tank top. So he wore that for the pop run. And then rounding out, so switching over to the bike now, Robin Arzon's 20-minute 90s ride from Wednesday the 2nd. Just, great 90s collection of tunes. Dre Snoop, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. She got Courtney Love's group Hole in there, Janet Jackson, and then, Monica and Brandy's The Boy Is Mine to close it out. So solid awesome ride from Robin. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, hopefully that gives you guys something to work on this coming week. And we'll see. Hopefully we'll have more strength out there. And unfortunately, and a couple people said to me, come on, Amanda, they messaged me and said, just, try the boxing. You're going to love it. And there just isn't enough hours in the day. There isn't. It's just not something that appeals to me. I'm just passing on the boxing. So sorry.
I'll probably do it
I'm
eventually.
enjoying my tread.
And one thing I would have thrown in, I did, so Jackie and I, we worked out live together for Jess's 45-minute Eminem boot camp.
Okay.
It was a great boot camp, and I would have made it my pick of the week, but the thing that really bugged me was Jess used all of the censored Eminem versions of each song, which I take umbrage with, because you want to, for the artist series, you want to play the music as it's meant to be heard by, as the artist intended. Don't play the freaking censored version where everything's like either bleeped out or just muted. And she's not usually someone that
censors. Yeah, but she's not somebody usually that censors her songs. So
no, so maybe she just wanted. Maybe she didn't. A lot of instructors, like for the theme rides, like I know Maddie's holiday run last year or 2 years ago. He didn't want to swear because he didn't want to get that explicit rating. He wanted it to be suitable for all ages. So I don't even know. It. Yeah. But even when it's censored, it sounds pretty dirty either way. It sounds pretty ratchet. But I thought that was annoying. So that was my one. Yeah. My one, and I gave it to her on her Insta Live. I was like, "What was up with playing all the censored tracks? Come on."
What did she answer?
I know. No, I didn't get any comment. But other people were like, yes, Eminem was made to be listened to uncensored.
100%.
Yeah, I was a little perturbed by that, but whatever. I'm over it.
All right.
So
Good.
Anyway, I've moved on.
I guess that pretty much wraps it up. We got through a ton today. There was tons of stuff coming back and forth. So hopefully you guys got a nice overview of the week in Peloton world from John Pruitt and myself. And I guess that pretty much wraps it up, folks. So from me here in Maryland, I will say bye for now, and I will see you guys next week.
And bye for now from here in snowy Michigan. Appreciate you tuning in, listening, watching us. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.